Greetings, guys, and happy holidays. So, we are getting ready to attack the third video in the series, Building a Resume. And so, just to review a little bit, on the screen you can see my email if you have questions. And then, as we scroll down on that video, see. There we go. So we scroll down, we can see a list of accomplishments. We have divided these into service, awards, and education. And we have made sure that we have followed these rules. Be specific, no abbreviations, list in descending order from the most recent thing that you did to the farthest away. We talked about last time building a reference section that would include people that know your work and your character. We talked about the fact that those people need to be not family members, at least 21, have known you for at least a year, and it would help if that were in the capacity of the general area that you're applying in. So, for example, if you are applying to a post-secondary education college or technical school, then you want your references to be able to vouch for you as far as a motivated learner, a punctual person, those types of soft skills or character traits. If you are going in applying for a specific position, let's say in electronics, then you want those references to know your work there. So maybe a particular professor or teacher in that subject, or even better, someone you have worked for in that particular profession. But most importantly, remember that you want to ask permission to list those folks on a resume under the category of reference. And in particular, list their preferred method of contact, whether that's an email or their company business phone or a private phone number. We also talked about the difference between a career objective or a work objective, and how you could list both, but you should probably narrow it down to one or the other. We also talked about being consistent throughout the resume. So if you're going to use bullets, for example, use bullets everywhere. Don't use bullets in one category, let's say education, and then in the next category, let's say job experience, which we haven't gone over yet. Don't use bullets at all. Like, you don't want to be inconsistent. You want to pick a theme and go with it. And we want to make sure that our resumes are no longer than one page. I had a student that I loved and still love dearly, who was in every single club and all kinds of after-school activities, and was proud about that and had put a lot of work and effort into those initiatives and had won a lot of awards in each and every one of those initiatives and wanted to showcase that. And 3 pages later, I had to be the bully that said, nobody wants to look at all of that. What they're interested in is how a snapshot of you compares to the 4 other people applying for this position. So those are the kinds of things that you could bring. Those extra things are things you could bring with you to an interview in an electronic or old school portfolio type situation. And that's why we're making this column with what documentation you do want to gather in terms of being able to either prove that you got what you said you got or did what you said you did, but also, um, in her case, all of the extras that maybe didn't fit on that original page. Okay, so now what I want to do, I want to stop showing you this because we've sort of reviewed. I want to go over and show you this one. So this is the template, the resume template that I was sharing with you that I typically assign to my seniors in senior English. And we talked about the categories that we've already listed on our accomplishments for resume organizational sheet that we just looked at. And those were your personal information, your contact information, education, right here, awards and achievements, and then on down at the very end, references. And so today, what I'd like to do is talk to you about the categories that you may, we also talked about the career and work objective category. So today what we want to look at is job experience, skills and abilities, leadership, and yeah, we already talked about service and club. So that's just three. Yeah, that's just three more that we want to talk about. And they're pretty self-explanatory, right? So a job experience means, unlike the service and clubs that we've talked about, this category represents situations where you did get paid. And so I've set up the template here as sort of mirror the other sections in terms of organization. So you would list your job title first. And in the example, you can see that's dishwasher. And then the company, Suba's Restaurant, City State, Mountain City, dates from and to, beginning with the most recent. So there's always reminders on this template that you can, that'll help you remember those rules. If you want to follow them. You're not my students, so you don't have to follow the rules, but I'm just telling you what looks good with the end product. What do we do? So we put July 2014 to present. So if you're still working at that job, that's the way you would end that, is to present day or to present. Most people write a sentence then or two of their, just a brief summary of your key responsibilities in that position. And then, and this is what I tell people, do not be embarrassed or hesitant to list jobs like babysitter, or, you can fluff it up a little bit and put child care specialist, right? Do not be embarrassed if this particular category is minimal. Obviously, you wouldn't be developing a resume if you had the perfect job and you've been there for 25 years and you're vested and looking at retirement, right? So this is for the budding entrepreneur who needs more experience than you currently have. So any job for which you get paid is important to list, because there's a person who counted on you, who gave you a shot, who can speak to those skills that transfer from one job to the next, such as punctuality and social skills, and those kinds of things. All right, let's move to skills and abilities. This is a category that I try to talk career-minded folks out of. So remember that a career objective would be one where you have to get training, you have to acquire skills in order to be eligible. So the category of skills and abilities down here at the bottom of the screen is mostly reserved for those of you with work objectives, because there you're going to want to list all the skills you already have from high school courses, from other courses above and beyond high school, from work experience, such as tearing an engine apart and putting it back together in X number of hours. So not that you can't list skills and abilities, but I strongly encourage those of you with career objectives to avoid I like people, don't fill this category with non-specific, very general items. You don't need it, especially if you've got a lot of, especially if you're worried about the whole keeping it to one page thing. This is definitely a category that you can skip if you're of the career objective path. And then the last category that I want to talk about is on this page, and it's at the top. It's leadership. More and more, especially post-secondary education institutions, are looking for a well-rounded applicant. And so, and even in the workplace, especially some like service oriented employers are looking for things that you've done that have showed your ability to lead instead of just follow directions. For example, and this was directed again to 12th graders, are you the president of the DECA club? Are you the captain of the cheerleading squad? Are you the president of the culinary arts club? Outside of school, this might look like, do you organize Vacation Bible School for your church? Do you teach a Sunday school class? Do you coach a little league baseball team? So I set up the template trying to be consistent with other categories, the type of leadership. So you would put president in this example, the organization, so Culinary Arts Club, and then Johnson County High School, and then the dates from and to. So what I told them, and I believe I mentioned this last time, is that your resume must have at least 6 categories, the 4 purple ones, and at least 2 more of your choice. So we went over the purple ones: references, education, a work objective, career objective, and personal information on series 2 of this video. And so now I would have my students go back, and out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teal ones, they had to choose 2 more. So I built in a little bit of flexibility, a little bit of autonomy, a little bit of choice, if you will, into their schooling, right? And so the reason that this particular example is a page and a half or a page and 3/4 is because it has every single category, and they did not have to do that. So if you're thinking, why is yours a page and a half, and you're sitting there saying, right? Now I want to stop sharing this. document, and I want to go to the internet. So I wanted to show you this website, and really what I did was I Googled resume examples, and it was that easy. And this format came up. Let me see if it'll make it bigger. And make sure you're seeing that. Yay. Okay. So I did it make it bigger? Let's try that again. Okay. So I like the look of this just because it's different, because it's got this color bar, because it's, I don't know, it's just modern looking. And here, here are those simple skills, the soft skills that I was talking about avoiding, particularly if you're in a career-oriented goal situation. And it also, to me, maybe frees up a little space, depending on your font size. You don't want to go below, say, 12 for us older folks who are trying to, get used to our new glasses and read these things. You want to make it as easy as possible, right? But we could go back. Can we go back? We can go back. Okay. Okay. So if we scroll down, I wanted you to see, let me make sure that you're seeing this. Yes. Excuse me. I wanted you to see that you can actually get a template for a lot of different job prospects. So if you're applying, let's say, here we go. If you're applying for an electrician's position, you can click on any of these and it will bring up a sample that's better organized, according to this website anyway, Resume Genius, for that particular career or work option. And you'll see, you'll see specifics, like with this one, there's core competencies. So this is a fancy way to say the specific skills that I bring to the table: customer service, expert in national electric codes, and then they've got the abbreviation, but they spelled it out first, so that's okay. Installations, maintenance and repair, troubleshooting and diagnostics. So I really like this website, and it is, again, resumegenius.com, for specific templates instead of what they used to call very confusing one, the schmall. It's very confusing. So take a look at Resume Genius and see if you see anything you like. And our next meeting is going to be about the VITA. VITA is a fancy word for life statement. And a life statement is basically a long paragraph, so don't freak out, where you can actually talk in writing to the person who's going to be looking at your resume. And this is typically called a cover letter, so it doesn't take away from your one pager. And it just, in addition to the list of stuff that you've done, it provides the opportunity for someone to hear your voice and your passion and what got you to this point, to even be looking at this next step. And so we'll be looking at how to develop a VITA or life statement in in the next and final version of How to Build a Resume. I hope each and every one of you has a blessed holiday season.